Hey all, this is Georgia Sean, sitting here in the Azores, trying beers from the Portuguese brand Sagres. We're trying their Bohemian line today. We'll be going through and sampling, starting with the original of the Bohemia, then the Treego, and then the Puro malt. So let's get this show on the road. Sagres is a pretty well-known beer in Portugal. This Bohemian line seemed interesting, so I thought I'd give it a whirl. I have virtually no information on it because it's all in Portuguese, but the original, good amber color, moving towards ruby. Not a lot of head. It's got a, let's say, a traditional kind of lager aroma. You can smell some yeast though. Nothing significant to write home about though. So it's an interesting mix. It's there's definitely a crispness to it. But on the same note, it's almost a little sour. Very little hop, virtually no hop flavor. Malt is strong, but again, it's crisp. It's what you expect out of a lager, nice crisp kind of flavor, texture. It's clear, even though it's got that amber and bubbly color, you know. I haven't had a lot of Portuguese beer, but I'm imagining that this is probably a step up from the traditional Mediterranean style lager that you get in this part of the world. It's definitely in the right direction. It is, Sagres is a macro brewery, so I imagine this is a real step in the right direction for them, entering the pseudo craft beer world. But frankly, not that impressed with this beer. So we'll finish it off and then I'll be back to taste the next beer. All right, so now we'll move on to the Treego. It's definitely a lighter colored beer. It's got more head. It's pretty much straw color, white head, very tight bubbles. This one seems to have some hop aroma, soapy. This one has some flavor. The yeast is putting a lot of effort in, but you can also taste a little bit of that hop flavor. There's no bitterness. It's got a little bit of a sour, soapy kind of flavor. There's not a lot of malt in this beer. It tastes pretty light on the malt. But it's got enough heft to it that it's definitely not a light lager. I mean, this is pretty intentional what they're building here. It's a relatively nice beer. I can't say I'm a big fan of it, but it's a nice beer. I'm trying to find the right place to have it. I mean, this is definitely, it could be a summer beer, but it's more of it's not an on the beach kind of summer beer. It's a dining al fresco kind of beer, outside, hot day with some food though. It's definitely, it's got a little bit more to it. It's just not a kickback session kind of beer. So I can see myself while I'm here, having a couple more of these with some meals. But not a super huge fan, but it's an interesting beer. But given that I've had some of the other other beers here, I'd say this is a step in the right direction again for Sagres. So we'll finish this beer off and we'll go to the third beer. And now we'll move on to the third beer, the Treego malt. This sounds a little more golden than the Treego. It's got some tight white bubbles for head, but they're fading away quickly. Oh, this one has some real aroma to it. It's kind of interesting. It's got like almost a Pilsner malt, but something else. Must be some sort of hop. Oh, it's definitely got I got that kind of little bit of a bitterness aroma to it. Interesting. It's got a nice malt to it, with a little bit of bite. Not a strong Pilsner bite, just a little bit of hint of that bite. It's almost a sweetness with it. Some additional flavor in there I can't seem to make out. I'm assuming this must be some of the hop flavor because it's not a malty flavor. It's a little bit of, there's a hint of astringency, a little bit of the sweetness. The astringency is kind of making it a sour kind of, just again, a hint of it in the background. Nice carbonation in there, but not overly strong. It's just, even though it faded away, that carbonation is still in the beer, so it's still got that right kind of texture. So, this is a pretty good beer. Out of the three, I think I'm leaning on this one. This clean astringency, mix that's happening keeps me from saying I'd buy 6 of them and sit around, and drink them over a day. Out of all the beers, I think the one that's easiest to continuously drink is probably the first original, but it's the one I'm least impressed by. It's the one that's the most interesting though. I'd say it's probably, if I were to guess, it's probably the riskier one for them because it probably is the most different from their traditional line. Again, Sagres is this macrobrewery here, making a very traditional kind of lager, and so this Bohemian line is their attempt at that, that pseudo craft market that is developing, and I've seen some options here, not in quantity, but I'm sure that from Portuguese beer lines this is a step in the right direction for them. So I'll say that probably this is the most interesting out of the three, but I don't want to discount our friend here at the Treego that also had some merit in a, that kind of hot al fresco lunch kind of thing. I'm sure the original is a step in the right direction as well, but overall, it's my favorite. But cheers to Sagres, trying something new. This is Georgia Sean saying, keep on drinking with the fat guys, and I'm going to finish this beer here in the Azores.